Hello students, welcome to biology class. This video is in continuity with the previous video of chapter reproductive system. The objectives that we are going to cover in this video are female reproductive system, essential organs and accessory organs of female reproductive system. Female reproductive system consists of two types of organs, essential sex organs and accessory sex organs. Essential organs include a pair of ovaries and accessory organs include oviducts, uterus, vagina and accessory glands. One by one, we will be discussing all these organs. In this picture, we can see female reproductive structures. Ovaries are essential organs. Uterine tube, uterus, vagina, vulva. They form the accessory structures. Starting with essential organs. Ovaries. Ovaries are essential organs. They produce ova and sex hormone, progesterone, estrogen, and relaxin. These are a pair of almond-shaped and sized structure, one on either side of the median line. Each ovary is attached with the back wall with the help of a double fold of peritoneum called mesovarium and with the uterus by the ovarian ligament. Each ovary is about 3 cm long, 1.5 cm wide and 1 cm thick. In this picture, we can see ovaries attached with the uterine wall by ovarian ligaments. Next, we are discussing the internal structure of ovaries. Each ovary consists of an outer cortex and inner medulla and is surrounded by a connective tissue sheath called tunica albuginea. The inner surface of the ovary is covered with a thin germinal epithelium formed of simple cuboidal epithelium which give rise to follicles and ova. The epithelium encloses inner part called the ovarian stroma, which is composed of the connective tissue containing the blood capillaries. This is the internal structure of ovary. Here we can see the outer cortex region, which is formed of cuboidal epithelium cells, and the inner medulla region, which contains the neurovascular structures, means many blood capillaries are there and nerves are there. And the cortex region contains the ovarian follicles. The stroma is divided into two zones, a peripheral cortex and an inner medulla. The stroma contains the developing follicles with the eggs in various stages of development. The mature follicle, called Graafian follicle, finally ruptures to release the mature egg into the surrounding peritoneal cavity, from where it is picked up by the fimbriated opening of the fallopian tube. Next is the accessory organs. Accessory organs in female reproductive system consist of a pair of fallopian tubes or oviducts, uterus, vagina, external genitalia, accessory glands. First, we are discussing fallopian tubes or oviducts. These are the tubes that carry eggs from the ovary to the uterus. Each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 cm long and extends from the periphery of the ovary to the uterus. They are not attached to the ovaries but have a funnel-shaped fimbriated opening to receive the egg as they mature. The part of the oviduct closer to ovary is funnel-shaped, called infundibulum. Here is the image showing the structure of uterine tube, or we can say the fallopian tube or oviduct. This finger-like projections of the fallopian tube is known as fimbriae. Then this funnel shaped part is known as infundibulum. The wider part of the fallopian tube in the middle is known as ampulla, and the narrow part towards the uterus is known as isthmus. The edges of the infundibulum have a finger-like projections called fimbriae. The infundibulum leads into a wider part of oviduct called ampulla. Ampulla leads into a part which is narrower called isthmus that joins the uterus. Each fallopian tube is lined with cilia to help the egg move towards the uterus. If sperms are present, fertilization takes place in the upper end of the fallopian tubes, that is, the ampulla-isthmus junction. Next, moving on to the uterus. The two fallopian tubes open into a thick wall muscular organ, the uterus. The uterus is single and called womb. Its shape is like an inverted pear. It is attached to the pelvic wall by ligaments. It is the uterus in which the embryo gets implanted and develops for 9 months during pregnancy. Inner lining of the uterus called endometrium is richly supplied with blood vessels and glands. The lower tip of uterus is called the cervix. The cavity of the cervix is called the cervical canal. The wall of the uterus has 3 layers of tissue. First one, perimetrium, is the outermost thin membrane. The second, myometrium, is the middle thick layer of smooth muscles. Endometrium is the innermost glandular layer that lines the cavity of uterus. The endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle, while the myometrium undergoes strong contraction during the delivery of the baby. The next accessory organ is vagina. It is 7 to 8 cm long tubular organ situated between the rectum and urethra. It extends upward and backward from its external orifice
to the cervix.
It receives male penis during sex act. It also serves as the lower part of the birth canal. The opening of vagina in young females is particularly closed by a thin membrane called hymen or virgin knot. Here we can see the structure of vagina. Next is vulva or female external genitalia. The female external genitalia include mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen, and clitoris. First one is mons pubis. It is the outermost structure of the external genitalia, which is the cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. Second, labia majora. These are the fleshy folds of skin that extend down from the mons pubis and surrounds the vaginal opening. Next, labia minora. These are paired folds of tissue under the labia majora. In between 2 folds of labia minora is present a depression called vestibule. In the vestibule are present 2 apertures, the urethral orifice of urethra and vaginal orifice of vagina. Hymen. It is a membrane that partially covers the vagina. Clitoris. A very tiny structure that lies at the upper junction of labia minora above the urethral opening. The next comes the accessory glands. There are 2 accessory glands. First one, the Bartholin's or large vestibular gland, and the second, a pair of mammary glands. The Bartholin's or large vestibular gland These are a pair of oval, large glands present one on either side of the vagina. These glands also open into the vestibular by the way of their ducts. They secrete mucus which helps in the lubrication during copulation and parturition. Mammary glands. In women, there is present a pair of well-developed mammary glands or breast on the anterolateral side of the chest. Before puberty, these are very small rounded structures, but during the attainment of puberty, they grow in size. In the center of each mammary gland is present a small rounded nipple surrounded by a pinkish area called areola. The mammary glands are also present in men but are not functional. Here we are discussing the internal structure of mammary glands. Mammary glands are paired structures that contain glandular tissue and a large amount of fat. Each mammary gland consists of about 15 to 25 mammary lobules, each with its own duct called lactiferous duct that emerges in the nipple. The lobules are compound tubuloalveolar glands. They contain mammary alveoli lined with milk-producing cells. Each lobule is separated from the other by dense fibrous tissue, connective tissue, and the fatty or adipose tissues. The cells of alveoli secrete milk, which is stored in the cavities of alveoli, which opens into the mammary tubules. In this image, we can see the internal structure of the mammary gland. Here, the mammary alveoli, which secretes milk in their lumen or cavity. Many alveoli open into a mammary tubule. Mammary tubule of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. Now, several mammary ducts join to form ampulla. Each ampulla is connected to lactiferous duct, through which the milk ejects out. The tubules of each lobe join to form a mammary duct. The histological structure of mammary glands varies depending upon sex, age, and physiological state of female. Several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla, which is connected to the lactiferous duct through which the milk ejects out. Thank you so much.